there, I'm Shane Engstrom, the director of Out Film Connecticut. I just wanted to welcome here with us Kyle Chu, who is the writer and lead actor in After What Happened at the Library. I wanted to welcome Kyle and congratulate him on being the selected film for Out Film Connecticut's nomination for the Iris Prize. Congratulations, Kyle.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. It's an honor to even be considered. Um, yeah, I'm really thrilled to be playing Connecticut. I'm really thrilled to be the Iris Prize nominee. That feels really huge. And I hope that everyone enjoyed the short.
Yeah, I mean, we really felt like After What Happened at the Library was not only was it well acted, congratulations, but also
Oh,
very
thanks.
well edited. The way it was put together that kind of drew you into the story, but also just just we felt that it was really an important topic and a timely issue to that needed to be addressed and needed to see the light of day here. And so we wanted to shine a light on this film, and that's why we felt it was so important to us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, especially the acting part because I'm not technically an actor, but I wanted to audition for the role because with my director, I just wanted to make sure it was the right person, and it turned out to be me. And so I'm like, okay, let's do this. Um, and so I'm glad it worked out.
Kyle, one of the things that occurred to me on the third viewing,
Yeah.
um,
Oh.
that that I felt the stress and the trauma so much is that there are two levels of it. You're reliving your character is reliving the trauma of that day, but there's also this incredible tension about what is this film crew going to do with this
Mhm.
footage. And I realized, as I say, on the third go round, that it's like, oh, that's why I'm so tense.
I'm so glad that you said that because that is actually the reason that we made the film. Um, because obviously, when this happened, there was a media circus that followed, which this short depicts. And I was flooded with requests for like artist collaborations, like come stand behind this politician for this public service announcement, come speak to CNN, Fox News, all this stuff. And I think being in acute fight flight, I felt I needed to do something, so I chose to fight. And I took on a lot of interviews, like a battery of them. And in my state, still thorny from trauma, I didn't realize how taxing it would be on me. And so it almost felt vampiric talking to the media when what they wanted from me was this tearful soundbite that they could use for anything, as you picked up. And so Marco Rubio ended up using my image and my likeness to promote anti-trans agendas, and uh, it was used for increased public safety at Pride and police presence and things I vehemently disagreed with. And so, above just being a terrifying situation, it's also about what it's like to be used as a political football in a between two culture wars. Because in 2022, this was on the heels of Stop Asian Hate, because of all the anti-Asian racist violence due to COVID and the anti-drag, anti-trans panic. And so what it meant to be sandwiched between these things and asked to speak on behalf of entire communities. And as you see in the film, they put you through this really traumatic reliving of an experience. And at the end of the day, you just get like a 2 second soundbite uh, after hours of excruciating detail going into it. And then it could be used by whoever. And so, on top of just experiencing something terrible, it felt like I was also taken advantage of. And so, this film is talking about the dynamic of what it means to platform LGBTQ victim narratives and how LGBTQ victims are made and the parasocial relationship we can have to public victims when something like this happens.
As a viewer, I felt a sense of catharsis, but I kept wondering how difficult it was to put yourself back into that past moment because it comes across very clearly how awful it was for you. And I'm imagining you sitting there for how many days was the shoot?
It was a 3 day shoot.
For 3 days, putting yourself back into that mindset. That must have been really hard.
I've gotten a lot of questions from audience members saying, this terrible thing happened to you. It fundamentally changed your life. Like, why would you want to revisit it so often? And I think the answer I always give to that is like, I'm never not revisiting it, if it makes sense. Like, there's this idea in like somatics and psychotherapy that when you experience something traumatic, like you're supposed to kind of like get it through your system, like a washing machine goes through a cycle. And PTSD is when you get stuck in that cycle and stays stuck in your body. You might have a disproportionate response, right? And so I'm already doing that. Like I think back to it a lot. There are flashes of it. And so what this allowed me to do is it allowed me to return to this cycle and complete it in a way that felt cathartic, where I was surrounded by people I cared about and trusted. And I got to take my story and my voice into my own hands. And I got to go back to the site of the incident. We filmed at San Lorenzo Public Library where it happened. And kind of have an exorcism of sorts. And, it'd be too glossy to say that that solved everything, but it certainly helped me along my path.
There's a great line when, after you finally just grab the water, and I have a question about that, but I'm going to hold on to it for just a second. I love the line where you describe drag as being a way to take these wounded, essential parts of ourselves and celebrate them. What a great line.
Thanks so much I'm so glad you appreciate that. Yeah, to me, I mean, masculinity is a prison, it's a straitjacket, and it has a very like narrow, prescribed way of being where you're not allowed to feel emotions, and the only emotion you're allowed to feel is violence and anger, and anything that isn't that is deemed like submissive or just unwanted. And I think through the process of masculinizing men and boys, like we teach them that they must strangle essential parts of themselves, because the whole spectrum of human emotion should be available to everyone regardless of gender. And to me, when you grow up telling yourself and having the world reflect back to you that all of the feelings that you're having that aren't anger or violence are unwanted and feminine, you start to destroy those parts of yourself. And I think drag is taking those things back, and it's having fun with it, and it's cultivating a new relationship with those parts and saying, well, I wanted the big frilly bow with all the sequins on it, even if it's silly, and why don't I do that? And why don't I make it like 10 times the size it should be and laugh about it?
The moment when you drink the water.
Yeah.
And this and the drinking, is that an homage to Pose?
No.
Really?
Oh my God, I didn't catch that.
I flashed on that. Oh, do you know the scene that I mean? When she...
I do know the scene, what you're talking about.
None of these things make you a woman.
Clear your throat.
Lubricate.
Now read that bitch.
Oh my God, that must have been in my subconscious. Yeah. Wait, can we edit this and be like, yes, that was totally planned?
So, Kyle, you know the scene where you take the glass of water, but you make the reporter.
I know what you're gonna ask me. I know what you're gonna ask. It's absolutely inspired by that, Claire. You hit it right on the nose. I knew from the start.
One of the things that really I took away from this film, and I, no shade on your character, but your character isn't really the hero of the piece. When the shit hits the fan, it's the librarian who stands.
Yeah.
And I loved that, when everything else awful happens, the librarian is still standing there making sure that you're okay. And do you want to go back? Do you want to go home? How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm going to try not to cry saying this because librarians mean so much to me, but growing up, I have a twin brother who has autism, and so he had to go to a lot of services. He needed a lot of attention, and I often found myself in waiting rooms, at Special Olympics swim practice or at the library, and I could do my homework there, and it always felt like a safe place to go. They would point me in the right direction. I remember I was like really into becoming a martial artist because like all of the 90s movies I consumed as a kid told me that if you're Asian, you have to do that. And so I was like, oh, this must be who I am, right? Um, and they pointed me to all those books, and I was like, okay, great, thanks. Um, which is all to say, I have a lot of appreciation and admiration for librarians. I'm an author myself, and sometimes as an introvert, leftist weirdo, I find myself struggling to find people I connect with. And I realized they're all in libraries and at bookstores because I went to like a book convention. And I was like, oh, this is where you've been hiding. So all my love to librarians, it's like the last vestige of like socialist services that we have, that where like you don't have to buy something to sit there and just enjoy the space or have access to information, and they're the world to me. And so yeah, this is for the San Lorenzo Public Library staff who just made it as the aftermath as good as it could be.
Love you, librarians.
Yeah, we love you.
Kyle, thank you so much for the time tonight. I wish we had more. This is a fantastic film. I'm so glad we got a chance to show it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're currently in development for the feature, and we're trying to, get a cool $1.2 million. So if you have it, just call me. Yeah, I really appreciate you selecting us, and I'm bummed I won't be able to go there in person because flights are so expensive now. But
we hope you get that Iris Prize. That'll be a nice little nest egg to start your journey.
Oh my god, yeah. We have to go get clink sodas someday to celebrate.